Craig here from fixitfallows. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm working on my giant anthem. I seem to have a bit of an issue with my dropper post. The release mechanism isn't doing anything. I could push down on there and the seat won't go down. So either the cable's stretched or broken, although it doesn't feel like it's broken, but we shall strip it out and have a look. So let's get into that. Okay, so first things first, I've got to detach the release mechanism from the handlebar so that I can get enough slack on this cable to pass the cable down through the frame, get enough slack on this cable here so as to be able to pull the seat post out of the frame. So let's do that. Okay, now you can see there's enough slack cable here. I can start feeding it back into the seat post tube so that as I start pulling the seat post out, that slack cable will get drawn in as well. So having released the seat post clamp here, I'm now working the cable out and offering that slack cable at the same time. There we go, so we can now get to the mechanism. Using the release cable here, see, it does pull. It's a bit, the cable feels like it's getting stuck, so I'm going to take the cable out, clean it and lubricate it and see what happens. So with the cable fully detached, I can operate this with my fingers and we can see that the dropper post does actually still work perfectly well. It needs a bit of a service, but it still works, so that suggests that there is an issue with the cable. Okay, so the seat post tube does need a bit of a service then, so I'm going to strip it down. So take a wrench, put it on the end like that, and just untwist it. They're never done that particularly tight. Once it gets so far off, you can probably do it on hand, like so. All that's inside here is like an air canister cartridge, much like you'd get on an office chair. There you go. So it is a bit gritty in there. Do a bit of a clean out in there. There's a lot of dirt in there. So we need to take this end off so that we can slide the whole thing out and give it all a good clean. Okay, so it turns out I could not get both of these pins out. One come out easily enough, the other one appeared to have been rounded off. Now, as this has never been off the bike before or taken to pieces, I can only assume that the head of that bolt got rounded during construction. So that means that can't come off. But there is similar at this end. I've already taken one of the pins out. I shall just take the next one out. Comes off like so. Comes out. That and then allows the cartridge to slide completely out. As you can see on the end of the cartridge, there's a projection with a recess in it that those two locking pins slide either side of. Okay, so I'm now giving the canister cartridge thing a clean and a wipe. This did have some thick grease on the outside of it, which grit had attached itself to, which created all that horrible binding and grinding noise on the seat post. Wipe all that off. Give the threads of this bottom cap a bit of a clean. Okay. And now we shall do the inside of the seat post tube. Okay, you can see down on the inside of there, it is a little bit grimy and mucky. So we'll clean that out as best we can and then give everything a new bit of lube, and it should be much improved. Okay, so I've got this all to pieces. It's a bit more complicated than I first thought. There's some fluting on this tube, so as it inserts into that tube, those flutes go inside tracks inside there. You have these little nylon bushing washers, bushing rubber plates that sit here and here, and then it all needs greasing and lubricated. This is like a collet that goes into there. It's like a squeeze pressure fitting. There's a rubber seal there. So hopefully it will all go back together, but we shall see. Okay, now I've cleaned all this, put it all back together, and it's working very nicely now. So now it's time to put a new cable in the tube. Taking the old cable out, just got to put the new cable in. There it is, there it emerges from the other end. Connect the cable on to the bottom of the dropper post, like so. Pull the slack through, seat the sheath, outer sheath in the right place, pull the slack, pull the cable through, offer the seat post in while pulling the cable down. There we go, all good. Pull the cable, should operate. It does. Now it's a case of putting the release lever back on. Go in that end. Put it through the hole. Like so. Make sure all the slack's taken up. Yep. Take the Allen key. Tighten the grub screw, like so. Put the retaining bolt back on. Allen key. Tighten it up. Like so. Press the lever. Watch the dropper post. And there it is. All functioning as it should do. Always best to sit on the bike again, let the dropper post up, let it off, make sure that it takes your full weight and that the cable isn't too tight and is actually pulling the release lever, which it's not. So just to finish off, I've trimmed off the excess cable off the end there, off of the lever, and I shall put a cable end onto the end of the cable so that I don't dig my finger when I'm using it. And that's it, seat post is done. Well, thank you for watching. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.